Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I'm so excited to welcome to the show on hashtag Transformation Tuesday, the master of living the 1%, the author and co-founder of the 1%, and Sam Bakhtiar. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so interesting you mentioned the 3 a.m. wake-up call. You and Rob must be cut from the same cloth.
We are, and apparently from the same area.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were talking, I'm like, wow, he knows where I'm from.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Where are you from?
I moved to the United States when I was 11. And when I was coming to America, I thought, on TV they show Beverly Hills and all the nice places, so I thought I was coming to Beverly Hills. But I went to a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Not Beverly Hills.
It is so far from Beverly Hills.
I got to Sharon, I was like, where are the mansions and Cadillacs and swimming pools and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, just lots of space.
Absolutely, but it was better at getting bombed on because when I was, when I was I'm Persian, so we were getting bombed on by Saddam Hussein at that time.
Wow.
So when I moved here, I was like, wow, at least I take the brick streets and abandoned buildings over getting bombed on.
Yeah.
What was it like to be an immigrant in that time, in that place?
It was
growing up?
tough, man. It was tough. So when I came, to Sharon, Pennsylvania, I was 11 years old. I was right pre-teenage, and I went to school. I went to 7th grade, and when I walked in, I noticed that was like the only minority that town has ever seen. When I walked in, it was like a Michael Jackson's Beat It video. It was like the black folks, and there was the white folks, and there was Sam. And they were like, you're not one of us, and you're not one of us, so what are you?
Wow. So let's talk about what does it mean to be a 1%er?
Got it. A 1%er is doing what other people don't want to do to get to where you want to go. I see it over and over again. Everybody wants the good life. Everybody wants to get to the top, but actually when it comes down to getting up in the morning, they don't get up. Actually, when it comes down to, giving up nachos or pizza, they don't want to do it. Or giving up that nice pair of shoes for saving later on, they won't do it. So it's all about, pushing yourself to the top. To me, becoming a 1% is not just about finances or anything like that. It's 5 areas of life. Faith, number one. You have to believe in something greater than yourself. Then family, fitness, finance, and fun. The 5 Fs.
I love
I like it.
Yeah.
Can we put fun at the beginning though?
That's true.
Woven through all.
No, I think it's so true, and I think that I see it a lot, especially in the women's empowerment movement, is everyone wants to become the 6 and 7 figure whatever, but they're not actually saving anything, and so they're just going to be in this rat race. It's like you've got to sacrifice at some level to build those assets and become the 1%er. So for you, going into, what is your specialty around 1%ers?
What do you mean by specialty?
Well, what do you do? What's your practice?
Okay, so the way I became a 1%er was through, so going back to Sharon, Pennsylvania, so when I got there, they were like, it's all by accident. I got there and I said, I want to play football. They're like, football? I'm like, my English is not good. This is the foot in the ball. So I didn't know anything about football. I didn't know anything about, baseball. So I tried for the basketball team and I got cut. That was the most devastating day of my life. So my mom said, go to the boys club and start practicing. Long story short, I went to the boys club, but I fell in love with lifting weights. And I start, seeing the transformation in my body. And I saw my transformation in my body. It kind of, went everywhere else. My self-confidence grew. I felt better about myself. And I started doing better in all areas of life. So my specialty comes from exercise and nutrition. And then from then on, it helps transcend in all the other 4 Fs, if you will.
So how did that experience, which I just love, how did that develop into the business that it is today?
So my mom growing up, I'm a Middle Eastern, my mom said, Sam, the only thing you can ever be in life is 3 things. Either be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. And if you're not one of those 3, you're nobody. I prefer a doctor, Sam.
Wow.
And my mom is 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, but vicious. She does talk to me like, okay, mom, that's what I'm going to do. So I went to Penn State and graduated with my master's degree in pre-medicine and nutrition. Then I went to Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, graduated, gave my diploma to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to do bodybuilding. I'm going to open up my gym. So that's what I did. That's where I all started.
Wow.
Yep.
No way. What's been the hardest part about sort of growing that business and growing that gym?
Well, I thought, my mom told me, when you become a doctor, money just comes to you.
Yeah.
Well, I became a doctor. That didn't happen.
Well, the first thing that happens when you become a doctor is the debt comes to you.
Exactly.
It is so true. I also understood the loans were there, the credit card payments were there.
But Sam, it speaks so highly of you and the love you have of your mother, that you were committed to being a doctor for her.
Yeah.
You committed to that education, you made her proud, and then you committed to following your own dream.
Yes. Yeah.
That must have taken a lot of courage, though, to say, okay, Mom, I became the doctor, but this isn't the life I'm going to lead.
Yeah, believe me, sometimes I question that. I'm like, wow, Mom, I did that for your Mom. You know, yes, yes.
I hope that degree hangs proudly on her wall.
She does. You know, my mom, you know, I was, my dad left us when I was 3 years old, and I never saw him again. So my mom means the world to me. She made me who I am today, and she earned that. It's the least I could do for her.
What have you learned about success in this journey of yours? Is there anything you've learned that maybe surprised you that you didn't know before?
Well, when it comes to success, man, I think the Nike slogan, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to another younger guy that he was just up and coming. He said, Sam, can I get a minute with you? I said, I don't have time. If you want to have a minute with me, come work out with me. We'll talk while I'm working out. And he goes,
true, right?
you know, I go, I don't have time, but I'll talk to you while I'm working out. So he was talking, he goes, so when should I start? I'm like, you know what? Now.
Yeah.
Now, just start. You know, the faster you fail, the faster you're going to get there. So don't worry about the perfect timing. There's not ever a perfect time. Just start, just get going. You're going to make mistakes around, on the way up there. You know, I always say, ready, shoot, and then aim.
Right.
Such a good point. I remember, like, at a young age, realizing how often I thought myself out of success and happiness. You just overthink it and you overanalyze it, and before long, you don't take any action because you've come up with all these reasons and excuses why it can't happen.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
Plan it
Yes.
all out. So what does it take? So say I want to be the 1%er of being fit. Come on, let's talk about this. We need some good advice.
Well,
from you.
honestly, you just got to set a plan. I mean, they say you want to see somebody successful and look at their daily routine. It really starts with your daily routine. So for me, the night before I go to sleep, I've literally got exactly what I'm going to do each minute of every single day. I print it out. I don't even have it on my phone. I have it actually printed out. I know exactly what I'm doing. It gives me a map guide. So I plan my goals for the year. I plan my goals for the week. So I know every single day what we have to do. Every single day, you're either winning or you're losing towards your goals, right? So you have to figure out what you need to do every single day to call a win. And I have a checklist, and I rewrite it every single day. Did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? And once you check it, because a lot of times it's easy to get distracted. Oh, I don't feel like doing this today. Oh, I don't feel like doing that today. You skip it. Next thing you know, it's a whole week, whole month.
Well, I think it's really
Yeah,
interesting you
true.
mentioned printing it out and keeping it separate. This is something that was recently brought to my attention because I had my whole life on my phone. And I felt like I was living in my phone, in my computer, and it was mixed in with all my work emails and all the other responsibilities, and I never got to what I needed to do for myself because it was buried below the emails and the to-do list of everybody else's priorities for me. Everybody else I was responsible to. And then when I put this little personal list over here, and I checked that off first, or I said, I'm going to take an hour to do my list and then some work. And I'll do an hour on my list again and then some work. But it took me out of that space. And I think that's really important sometimes for people I'm like you in that I need to have a difference. I have to keep that separate.
So well said.
Yeah, I'm going to share something with you. To me, success is when you cannot have a phone. You don't need a phone. If once you get to that level, then you're like, you know what? I don't even need a phone. Or I'm just going to have a phone. I'm just going to call. I only can call 3 people: my daughters and my wife. That's it.
I love that. I know one person in the world that way, Eckhart Tolle. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't text. He doesn't do any of that stuff.
That's my life goal.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what your life goal was, like your highest dream for yourself was.
Great goal, right?
That is literally my life goal. You know what I mean? I said the day I can get rid of this thing is the day I'm free.
Well, and you know what though? You're on your way because that'll be the day that your business
Yes.
has transformed so many lives and it's running itself and you've got great CEOs and COOs and everybody to run your company that you can just sit there in your kingdom
Yes.
with your wife and your daughters and no phone.
That's definitely my plan. You read my mind.
With all those 5 pillars, right?
Yes.
I love that. So tell us again more, because I think your routine is so fascinating. So you get up at 3 a.m. And I mean, first of all, how many hours of sleep do you need a night?
Honestly, over the years, I'm perfect at 6 hours. 7 hours, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I have so much energy. If I get 7 hours, I don't even know what I'm to do. Watch out. The next day, I'm just like running crazy. 8 hours, I'm sluggish. If I get 8 hours the next day, I'm sluggish. 5 hours, I can work any less than 5 hours. By 5, 6 o'clock, I'm slurring my words.
Yeah, right. So you get up at 3, you work out. Then how do you plan it out? Do you just on a personal question? Do you write it out or do you print it out? Like do you?
I print it out. I print out my schedule the night before. But my to-do list, my daily win list, I write it because I want to be able to write it. So it's always on my subconscious. Every single night, I write it. Even though it's repetitive, I write it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you go through your day and you have basically a team that you delegate things to?
Absolutely. You know, we have over 300 employees now, and I'm blessed with some great, amazing business partners who take care of the day-to-day operations. And, you know, I'm more of a visionary, more of a strategic guy, more of a marketing guy, you know, and I have a whole team, and I check with them every single day. They know what their task is, and every single person, you know, is responsible for one thing.
Great question. So what is your one thing? What's the, you know, I think some of the most extraordinary people I've met, whether it comes to success or it comes to happiness, they're very clear about their competitive or comparative advantage.
Yeah.
What's yours?
You know, as far as business is concerned, or
Yeah.
as far as personal is concerned?
I'd say they're similar, but both.
Okay. Well, when it comes to, you know, let me share something with you really quick. 4 years ago, I went through a divorce, you know, and I was not, remember, I was sharing with you I didn't have a dad, and that broke my heart because I didn't want my daughters growing up without a dad. So I literally sat in my, you know, I went and got an apartment, you know, and a mile away from the home, and I said, okay, Sam, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be reckless, like, you know, some people that you know, go get drunk, go to the bars and all that, or what are you gonna do? So I said, you know what? My top priorities in life is to spend as much time with my daughters as possible. But if when I'm not with my daughters, then I'm gonna work. And that's how I really was able to scale the business. You know, from then on, our business 10x. So my top priority is always going to be my daughters and my family. Yeah. You know, when it comes to my personal thing, that I live for my daughters. I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old daughters that are just they're my life. You know, but as far as business is concerned, honestly, you know, I like what Jim Rohn said. You know, the more people you help, you know, the more you help yourself. You know what I mean? So I focus now to help more people. Now, when I was coming up, when my basic necessities weren't met, you know, I was like, when I didn't know if I was going to pay rent or I was going to be able to afford a home or make the car payment, for me, it's all about money. You know, but once your basic necessities are met, you know, you're in a better place. And now you can just focus on, you know what can I do to serve? And, you know, by serving more people, you get more.
Just love it, absolutely.
So now you're serving people with a great line of products on top of the book. Tell us about some of the lifestyle products that you offer.
Okay, so, you know, I started a company called 1% Nutrition. You know, 1% Nutrition is basically, I sat down, I'm like, what do I love? What am I gonna take? And there's no, you know, no price objections or nothing like that. So I developed a line, you know, and thank God, this is a passion project, because if it doesn't sell anything, you know, I'm not out of a house or anything like that. So I started developing this line and the whole branding behind it. And the word got out there, and people are loving this stuff. You know, I mean, you know, like one of the things that I developed was called a protein pudding, because I really do good on my diet till like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and then at night, and I need Jiffy peanut butter. Yeah. You know, like I get the cereal. I want a cereal. I want a Jiffy peanut butter. So I developed like a protein pudding, like chocolate, peanut butter, and vanilla. That is just like so delicious, but it's protein. You know, and then like, and like I said, I love cereal, right? So I developed a protein called cereal protein. You know, it tastes just like cereal milk. Actually has chunks of Cocoa Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch and stuff in it.
Oh,
I should have brought you guys some.
I was going to say,
All right,
I will send you guys some.
You also have fat coffee.
Yes.
I'm a coffee giver, so that spoke to me. What is that?
Okay, so you know, Bulletproof Coffee. You heard of Bulletproof Coffee. I'm a big, fan of Dave Asprey and the Bulletproof Coffee. You know, and ketogenic diet is something I experimented with, you know, when I was in Penn State, and at that time, I didn't drop my protein too low because I was a bodybuilder. I'm like, I don't want to drop my protein, but I experimented with ketogenic diet, and it worked perfectly for me. So, but I didn't, you know, every single morning making a coffee, putting some butter in it, put some coconut. That was a big process. I'm like, can I just instantize this? So I came up with a powder that, you know, has, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, and some fiber, and it tastes delicious.
I'm on the ketogenic. I'm like a weekend. I've never done it ever in my entire life, and it's interesting. I feel very good. I think it's interesting when you take the carbs out, how you just have there's no cravings. It all just goes away.
You know, once you get through the first 12 days, the first 12 days for me was hard. I remember, I came home, and, you know, I've been on a regular eating clean diet for last 25 years. You know, broccoli, brown rice, you know, chicken breast and all that kind of stuff. And I came home with all this bacon and butter. And my mom was like, oh, you're normal again. You know? So I'm gonna make you breakfast. And then she tried to give me a toast, but I'm like, no, I can't have the toast. I can't have all that kind of stuff. So, but you know, you really, really are a lot more focused on the ketogenic diet. My mind works better. I don't have the ups and downs of energy like I usually do.
So, but I love the conversation of what does it take to be a 1%er? And that's actually what got me doing this diet, because I was really inquiring into what is it that I need to do to take the next quantum leap. And one of the things was to really handle my diet, because my energy's up and down, and I'm like, I need to have a breakthrough around that. And I don't know if I'll sustain on this diet. I highly doubt it, but I think it's worth trying out different things that are extreme at some level to discover what works for you. And obviously now we know, especially as women, we never got enough protein in at all. Like, it's ridiculous how as women, our levels of that generally are very lower than men. And it's so important. So it's exciting to know all your products and how you're getting it out there.
And if this keto diet includes Cocoa Puffs, I'm all in. I'm all in.
I just want another cup of fat coffee right about now.
Definitely the fat coffee for sure.
Such a pleasure meeting
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Bakhtiar and 1%nutrition.com.
Awesome.
Nice. Love
Thank
it.
you.
You can be a 1%er. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.